Alright, so this review is going to be on a pair of Alden Indy boots made with Color 8 Horween shell Cordovan. But before I get started with the review, I just wanted to ask, that if you find these reviews at all helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel. The specific product number for this boot is 40538H. It was purchased from LaRossa, so it was a collaboration between LaRossa and Alden. Just wanted to say that if you're in the market for these boots, LaRossa, the customer service at LaRossa is top notch. Bill LaRossa, the current owner, he goes at great lengths to make his customers happy. They also do specific repairs to Alden boots. They have Alden Commando soles that they can actually convert your regular Alden soles, any other like non-Commando sole, into a Commando sole. So it's pretty cool. I was happy with this purchase and happy with the customer service they gave me. So highly recommend. I think this is the first Alden video that I've done. So I just want to note that Alden uses Horween shell Cordovan for every shell Cordovan boot and shoe that they make. The hides that they get from Horween honestly seem like some of the best that I've encountered. I mean, they're out of the box. A pair of Alden boots or shoes and shell Cordovan is just immaculate. I've worn these around the house a little bit, so they, you'll see a few signs of wear, but they still look new. Out of the box, you just have to trust me. They're kind of like little works of art. You honestly almost don't want to wear them that first time. Regarding the name Indy, so the name Indy in these Alden boots stems from the fact that Harrison Ford wore a pair of Alden Indy boots in the Indiana Jones movie series. He actually wore a separate pair, though. He wore the Alden Indy 405. It's the same like structure as this boot, but it was made with calfskin instead of this Color 8 shell Cordovan, and it has a machine-stitched vamp here as opposed to this hand-sewn vamp. Now, regarding like what Alden purists would consider a traditional Indy, there's a few things that would go into that. So first and foremost, the Indy was originally made on the True Balance last, and that is what a lot of people consider to be the true last for an Indy boot. The original Indy boot that Harrison Ford wore also had a Neo cork sole, which this is, and a Thomas heel. And really, these things are designed for comfort. I mean, the shock absorption on this is great. It's probably why they chose it for the original Indy boot, because the original Indy boot was actually a work boot. So, people are on their feet all day. You want something comfortable, so they went with this Neo cork sole. And I can vouch it's extremely comfortable, extremely shock absorbent. Highly recommend. The original Indy had a 270-degree Goodyear welt. I don't think the welt was an antique welt like this one is, but I think it looks great. This specific welt looks great in contrast to the Color 8 shell Cordovan on these. The original Indy had 4 speed hooks in addition to the 5 eyelets, as this does. And I mean, I've seen Alden come out with a bunch of different models of the Indy on Plaza Last, Berry Last. I've seen some U-tip boots come out on the modified last that look exactly like the Indy. So I mean, if your foot doesn't work with the True Balance last, there are options out there for purchasing a boot that looks like this. But you're gonna get pushback if you call it an Indy from people that consider themselves to be like Alden purists. Regarding the fit of these boots, so they're made on the True Balance last, like I mentioned before. It's one of the widest lasts Alden uses, so I would not be surprised if you needed to size down a half size, and some of you may need to size down a width also on these. So I am a 10D Berry Last perfect fit, and I wear a 10D in the True Balance last. But to put things in perspective, I'm a 10.5 D or E on the Brannick device, depending on time of day. So honestly, it's a really wide last. I have a pair of Berry lasted shoes here from Alden. You can see even on the Berry, which is itself a fairly wide last, the True Balance is significantly wider. That makes for a really comfortable boot if you're wearing it for long periods of time, though. So, I would explore sizing on it. Probably size the same as your Berry Last. So I'm just going to take some close-up shots of the boots here to show you the finishing on them. Like I mentioned before, I mean, out of the box, they looked pristine. There were absolutely no blemishes on them, no creasing, no defects at all. So you honestly don't really want to wear them when they're brand new, but they'll age nicely. The patina will develop over time. The color will probably lighten a little bit. I'll post some follow-up reviews on these as I wear them more. So regarding the comfort on these, I mean, they are probably the most comfortable boot or shoe that I own currently. The Neocork outsole and Thomas heel provide great shock absorption. And really, I anticipate not needing to resole these for many years, actually, because this sole and heel combination, I mean, they take forever to wear down. So it's another positive of this composite sole. That basically wraps up the review. If you guys have any questions about these boots, please feel free to throw them in the comments. I'm happy to answer them. Also, if you have any suggestions as to what you might want me to review, I have a huge shoe collection, so I'm game to review really anything. Just throw them in the comments, and I'll be happy to respond. But thank you guys for watching, and once again, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. But that is all for now. Take care, everybody.